can be a master if you try. Pokemon, Pokemon, the journey's just begun. Pokemon, more the better. Pokemon, Team Rocket's on the run. Pokemon, we're friends forever. You've got the power right in your hands. They'll evolve before your eyes. A world of magic at your command. You can be a master if you try. Pokemon.
Hey, let's get started. I remembered to bring water this time. So, yeah, fortunately the last stream was only planned to be an hour anyway, because, boy oh boy, if I was going to do a multi-hour stream, well, to be honest, hey everybody, I would have used the, I would have just taken a break and filled up my water bottle, but, it would have, an hour stream. I was able to just barely get away with not having water with me, and I think it's the first time I ever did an actual entire stream without having water nearby. This time let's commit to a full quarter hour of Pokemon Pinball as our warm-up game before we take on the final Elite Four member and get on with Pokemon. Okay, I was worried for a second. I wasn't hearing, me personally. Y'all in watching the stream probably heard it, but I wasn't hearing the volume. I was like, what's going on here? Da, da, da. Oh, yeah. Hey, we could evolve into Wigglytuff, and hopefully we actually are... Oh, come on. Come on. Yeah, hopefully we're actually... it's been a while since I've been able to pull off a successful evolution. Get a Moonstone. Okay, yeah, usually it says EXP, but that's cool, since Jigglypuff in the actual Pokemon games evolves using a Moonstone, it says get a Moonstone instead of, get EXP. Yeah, and all of a sudden, all of the targets that actually offer EXP become impossible for me to hit. Oh, there we go. We hit one. Now, yeah, I like Wigglytuff as a Pokemon. I think I've raced one in one of the newer games, not Gold or... Okay, oh, you had to get a Moonstone. Oh, you have to collect them. They're scattered throughout the board, I guess. Oh, I guess each time I hit one of those appropriate targets, a Moonstone appears somewhere on the board. Hey, and, hey there, Clackaboy, who's saying, Happy God Gorgeous Easter weekend. Hope the Easter Beagle brings me a basket of treats. Well, I may not, I've got some appointments lined up for Easter to, make some people happy, and I'm looking forward to it. And, yeah, today, Clackaboy, if it wasn't obvious last time, we are, on the cusp of... Yeah! We evolved into Wigglytuff, and boy, oh boy, is this sprite so much better than the one that Wigglytuff... Let me pause. Yeah, boy, oh boy, is this sprite for Wigglytuff. Oh, a bonus round. Bonus round time? Bonus round time? Bonus round time. Let's do it. Oh, the Diglett stage. I like the Meowth stage more, but we'll have some... That sucked. Gee whiz. Ugh. Nah. Okay, we evolved Jigglypuff into Wigglytuff, but then we immediately, noped out of the Diglett stage. With the Meowth bonus stage. I almost said bonus stage. It's just saying Meowth, gives me that, catty, that Meowthish, that meowy kind of accent. It's weird. I guess I get in the spirit of... And, oh, catch 'em out already. But no, I was on the cusp of saying that that bonus stage is similar to one that's in Revenge of the Gator, which is, Spearo's a new Pokemon for me. Yeah, I love when they actually give me new Pokemon and don't make me waste my time and effort re-catching Pokemon that are already in my collection. Okay. Now, tomorrow... it's 90%. I'd say our odds are 90% better of beating Pokemon today. And if we beat I would have liked Pokemon Stadium to be ready, but I did not have the time in my schedule to actually set up the Pokemon Stadium layout. So instead of Pokemon Stadium, we're probably going to go back to playing Pokemon Pinball for a little while, or we'll probably end up playing Pokemon Pinball as well as Pokemon puzzle challenge, also, which is also for Game Boy Color. Unlike Pokemon Pinball, which is for Game Boy Pocket, but hold on. I gotta stop for a second. You can't see it because it's with my lower hands, but my model's twitching out. I'll step away for a second. Just taking off my headphones, my invisible headphones. I'll be right back. Alright, yeah, it made it look like I was looking at a spider crawling across my ceiling or something. Okay, so I did that, and now I gotta recalibrate something real quick on my model. Face tracking, yeah. Okay, calibrated the face, and let's recalibrate the hands as well. Where's my hand tracking? Calibrate hand tracking. Okay. Okay. It should not. My hands... It was all below the waist, but it's just really distracting seeing it on the model. Okay. Alright. Yeah, now we just gotta hit him with the Pokeball 3 times, and he's ours. Yeah, that's the one issue I have with sort of, I guess, progress-based pinball games. One that aren't just strict score attack pinball video games. One that have like, an objective. Like how Kirby's Pinball Land, you're trying to beat the stages. Sonic Spinball, you're trying to beat stages. Well, I mean, not so much Sonic Spinball, but like Kirby's Pinball Land in here, they make it too... Well, especially here, because you have concrete objectives in terms of trying to catch all the different Pokemon, but they make it so hard to actually... every time you go into Catch-A mode, you're just crossing your fingers that they actually give you a new Pokemon to catch, because there's not any matter of skill that I could control. And Collectible saying they didn't have time to give themselves a chocolate bunny, but they'll be enjoying a honey ham with mashed potatoes at a local diner tomorrow. Aw, that's nice. That's a nice festive diner meal. I remember, I mean, I don't eat turkey, but I remember a few years ago, IHOP had like sort of a Thanksgiving dinner they temporarily added to their menu. Hold on. And it had like broccoli. It had some turkey slices, you know, with gravy and cranberry sauce, broccoli, and mashed potatoes. And it was just a simple little, and some stuffing. It was just a simple little Thanksgiving dinner plate. And it was like, yeah, it was a good way to, you know, if you were eating with, you know, relatives or by yourself on Thanksgiving. Now, of course, if I did go to a restaurant on a major holiday, I would, of course, lavishly, generously tip my waitstaff for their service and being and working on a holiday for me. And yeah, if you I know you do, Clackaboy, because you know I just know you. But as far as a streamer could know a audience member, I know you. But anyone out there, if you order a pizza tomorrow, or if you go to a restaurant tomorrow, or if you order, you know, if you send someone some, you know, a fruit basket or anything like that, make sure you tip them super generously, because you know, it's a holiday and it's good to spread the joy around and be generous when you tip people. But yeah, we're on the blue table now, and I believe this is Pewter City. Yeah, I believe this is Pewter City or outside of Rock Tunnel. Last real Thanksgiving dinner I had, like, now I live geographically a little closer to family, but at one point, like, I made a couple of moves, but at one point when I lived very, very far from any family to have Thanksgiving with, I remember just ordering a little Thanksgiving meal from Whole Foods. And yeah, a little vegetarian Thanksgiving meal from Whole Foods, and picking it up the day before Thanksgiving and then heating it up the day of. Oh boy, I look forward to, I don't know where I'll be moving next, I don't know, but I do look forward to having a proper kitchen. Not that I'll be streaming my, you know, cooking or anything, but I look forward to just getting, you know, lots of things I never needed before, because either you know, when I lived with my parents back in the day, you know, they just had their own stuff. And then when the places I've lived since then with, you know, different flatmates or whatever, I've had, you know, I could just use their pots and pans and stuff. Or now, you know, now where I'm living now, I just don't need any pots and pans because I just have, you know, my bedroom and a bathroom. So I just have a little electric kettle to make tea and boil water for noodles and hot cocoa maybe. But yeah, I look forward to having a proper kitchen, getting a good starter set of pots and pans and cutlery, and I only have to buy it for one because it's just going to be me, so I don't have to spend too much money on all that. But that makes it tricky. It's tricky. Like, when you're cooking for a house full of people, a lot of good ingredients, especially perishables, you often buy in relatively larger amounts. So it can be tricky buying, like, perishables, you know, for a recipe for one person, you know, yeah, I'll probably have to cut most of the recipes I make in half, unless I want to eat something for an entire week, if something even stays fresh for that long once you cook it. But I look forward to moving on from Pokemon, and so next week, I'm assuming, I am like 90%, 95% certain that we will be able to beat Pokemon today. And if we don't, you know, it'll just carry on to next week. If our team ends up not being strong enough to beat the final challenges of the game, I have a scheme to grind against them and raise a bunch of money, but it would have to involve me repeatedly getting through most of the Elite Four, and so that when I lose half my money, but each time I go in, that half becomes bigger and bigger, so eventually I have enough money to go to Celadon department store and buy, like, the permanent increases for things like speed and the like. There's like a item that increases speed, item that permanently increases defense and attack. So I'd have to stock up on a bunch of those and just give them to my Pokemon and boost them up enough. And as well as I keep fighting them, also they would be gaining experience, of course, as well. And I guess really gaining the experience would probably be more important than getting enough money to buy a bunch of stat increases. Yeah, I don't know why it said 14 minutes left. There's actually only 3. I had to, put my timer back in the foreground. Yeah, ball saved and instantly launched back onto the playfield. Now. Alright, there we go. There we go. Yeah, yeah, I didn't realize till yesterday how, like, sort of Shelter and Slowpoke themed this table is on the upper half, but it makes sense thematically. Just like how, Nintendo versus Pinball, or Nintendo NES Pinball, it's really kind of an animal-themed pinball game, but with a particular emphasis on water-related animals, because you have penguins, you have seals, and then on the bottom you have eggs that hatch into chicks, and chickens aren't really a water-related bird or animal, but Blanche. Okay. Now, if I end up playing Pokemon next week as well, Pokemon Red, if I don't beat Pokemon Red today, when I come back to Pokemon, I'll use next week, I'll use Pokemon Pinball as my warm-up, but what I'll do is I will switch it back into Game Boy mode, because like for the first half of my playthrough, I was always playing Pokemon Pinball in black and white Game Boy mode. Oh yeah, and what I was saying earlier that you might have been thinking about Collectaboy, doggone, was that, yeah, I was going to say that Pokemon Pinball is cross-compatible. It is marketed as a Game Boy Color game, but it is fully playable on the original model Game Boy. On the other hand, like, one of the biggest differences you'll see is that Pokemon Pinball here, in the red table, you will see a brick pattern to sort of suggest the color red and make the table look a little more interesting. So it's not just a matter of, oh, you're playing the exact same game but just with black and white graphics. They actually did take the time and effort to boot the game, to have the game have different graphics to appear better on a monochrome model Game Boy if you do play it on a system other than a Game Boy Color. Now I wonder, I'm gonna guess that if you play this on the Super Game Boy, it's gonna play in Game Boy, black and white Game Boy mode, as though it were running on an original model Game Boy, because the Game Boy Pocket was created before the Game Boy Color was actually developed. So, because Game Boy Pocket was like 95, 96, I believe. Yeah, it couldn't have been later than like 95, if I remember correctly. Oh, come on! No! We almost got to go to our next table, but it's time for our main game. Okay. Now let's set the main timer. Okay, set the main timer for 60, and we'll set our on-screen timer for 60. But first, we got to switch the games out and switch the layout as well. I sometimes forget to do that, and you inexplicably see. Yeah, and I am playing this using original cartridges on my Analog Pocket, which is a cool thing to do if you care about playing on original cartridges, but you don't need fancy equipment like this. You just give yourself the experience that you want to have, and you don't even have to worry about fancy equipment. Any means you have to do so, though I personally prefer to one way or another play my games in a manner that reflects their official release history. But there are certain games where I'll have no choice but to emulate or resort to community-supported preservation methods. Let's put it that way. Alright, so we just defeated Agatha, and our team is fully healed up. Let's swap. Okay, we're gonna switch Wigglytuff. Yeah, put Wigglytuff on top, because I think I know the strategy I had planned up. And by the way, my hands are free. I'm not touching the. Our character is walking automatically. Yeah, just walks through this room automatically. And I don't know. They did a good job with the sprite implying the cape, but something like with the cape, the sprite with the cape and the eyes implied a vampire to me. And I gave him like a Bela Lugosi Dracula type accent. Ah, I heard about you, H. Uh-oh. Kalakaboy has redeemed the Game Boy Knight for 10 minutes. Will we defeat the final Elite Four member while in Game Boy Knight mode? Yeah, so that's the lore and history of the Game Boy Knight. And so for the next 10 minutes, we will be playing in Game Boy Knight mode. I lead the Elite Four. You can call me Lance, the Dragon Trainer. And by the way, there is only one line of true Dragon-type Pokemon. The only true Dragon-type Pokemon in this game is the Dratini line, which is kind of ridiculous. You know that dragons are mythical Pokemon. They're hard to catch and raise, but their powers are superior. They're virtually indestructible. Well, are you ready to lose? Your league challenge ends with me, Age. Wow, look at this. Listen to this music. This is not appropriate final Elite Four member and leader of the Pokemon League music. Yeah, I forgot they used this music for this moment. Oh, at least we have gym leader music, because we're hearing normal gym, like normal Pokemon trainer music for the other battles of the Elite Four. Lance sent out Gyarados, level 58, significantly, Wigglytuff's defense fell. Wigglytuff used. Oh no! It didn't hit. Oh come on! Hit! We keep dropping our defenses. How unlucky can I get? Like 4 times in a row? Jeez. Ah! Alright, fine. We're going to... Oh! How can it miss? That's ridiculous. I'm just getting bad rolls on this. I'm just getting bad rolls. Ah! Of course, one hit KO. That was garbage. Like, why would... Yeah, how unlucky could I possibly get? Alright, I know, Gyarados is not a Dragon-type yeah, okay. We need to start... We need to revive. This is ridiculous. Like, these were good... I was using good moves. It just... I was just getting bad dice rolls, I guess, on these... actually executing these moves. Now, I'm at a significant level disadvantage, but... Yeah, Dragon Rage is not that effective against us, but... We're gonna... Well, okay. We're gonna use a couple of our Hyper Potions here. Use one on Raichu. And one on Wigglytuff. There we go. Use Leer, of course. Yeah, okay. Let's see how much damage Bite does. Actually, Bite does pretty decent damage. For your... Yeah, for his toughness. Actually, we're doing pretty good with Gyarados. In terms of his, like, ability to withstand hits. And we have plenty of power points for Bite as well. And he flinched, which is they basically just miss a move. Nice. Okay, 1 down, 4 to go, because he only has 5 Pokemon. That's about to use Dragon... Okay, now, unfortunately, we have to beat the mess out of a beautiful Sea Serpent. Hold on. Out of a beautiful Sea Serpent. But I'm gonna use Dragon Rage. This is basically why I wanted to raise a Gyarados, was for this moment. Okay. Alright. Yeah, we're just basically just raging back and forth at each other at this point. Oh, an attack other than... That was by a narrow margin. It was by a frustratingly... Okay. They're probably faster than me, but... If I can get this off... yeah! Okay. Alright, we're good. We need to... Let's revive. We need to definitely revive Gyarados right now while we have the chance. No! Doggone! Okay. They used a Hyper Potion, but... Okay. So let's check our... Okay, so Gyarados, we need to use a Hyper Potion of our own. And if I get the chance... Oh, they keep using... Oh. They're... Oh, you know what? They have a move. Okay. So, Dragonair is a Dragon type, but Agility, I believe, is a Psychic type move. Because I think Psychic is effective against poison. I think they're just going to keep using Agility. I think they're just going to spam Agility. Because that move should theoretically be super effective, but it's not a move that deals damage. Okay, I think we have... Yeah, if... About to use Dragonair. No, if this Dragonair has Agility as well, we've got this. No, doggone. Oh. They're trapped. No, it didn't hit. Okay. Come on. You can do this. You can do this. Yes, it hit them. Good. Okay, now we have to do... All I have to do now is wait. All we have to do now is wait. We have... Okay, yeah. There's nothing left to do except wait. Yeah, we'll deal damage in the meantime, make it go a little faster, but... Yeah, this is... Yeah, it's trying to use a move that it knows is super effective, but it doesn't deal damage to us. So we're kind of abusing the bad artificial intelligence of this old video game, but it's not something I intentionally did. They used a Hyper Potion. It doesn't matter. They're just going to... Because it's severely poisoned or badly poisoned, each tick is going to do more, each poison tick. And a tick meaning, like, each moment, each time in the turn cycle where the damage would be dealt from it being poisoned, it's going to be more and more severe. Here I was thinking I was going to be, wow, yeah, 3 down? 2 to go, wow. About to... okay. So it's... I think Aerodactyl's a flying and rock type, so... We don't want to use lightning on it, which would be the typical first instinct, right? Can we poison... Can we badly poison them? Yes, yes we can. I don't want to try to use that tactic again this turn. Let's swap out for... okay. Let's get tactical. Let's see how much PP they have left for defense curl. They have 21 left for that. Yeah. Let's bring out Gyarados and use some of our water type moves, and I think these should be super effective. Alright, everyone can uncover their eyes. Let's go back to original model Game Boy out of respect for this classic moment in gaming history that's where we're living in real time here. Okay, so they're hurt by poison. They're not... I don't think he has full restores. I think he only has Hyper Potions, so... let's use Hydro Pump. Yeah. Okay, let's do this. Uh-oh. You gonna make it? You gonna make it? No! You got knocked out! Okay. Did he already have some damage ticked on him? I believe he did. Alright, so let's... They start off with Bite, but let's time to hammer down on, or not hammer down, I guess, opposite of hammer down. We're gonna bulk up on defense, actually, is what we're gonna do now. And, alright, so... with all these defense curls, I think we can withstand this. Yeah! Woo! We just barely survived. As they take more and more damage. Okay. It's time for a... We're gonna use one of these bad boys. Yeah, a guaranteed full HP restoration. 196 HP from that. And, oh yeah, we're gonna... Yeah, it didn't even hit us, so cool. And Beedrill benefit as well, and... Yeah, here comes the Dragonite. They're gonna use agility. Their speed went up. We're gonna keep using agility till, and they used agility. Their speed keeps going up. Our defense is gonna keep going up. They use defense. We're gonna keep bulking up on defense until barrier. Their defense greatly rose. All right, we're good on defense. Let's put them to sleep now. Try to put them to sleep and then just start beating up on them. Nice. Everything's working pretty much perfectly. I did not think this would go so good our first time around against Lance, the final of the Elite Four. Double edge. Okay. That's not a great deal of damage to them, but it's not a... Okay. We can only use that 7 more times. Okay. While we have the chance... No, actually, no, I should not have done that. Let's see. They're still asleep. No, actually, what I should have done is... Oh, Garrett... We need a... We're gonna use a revive while they're still asleep. Use a revive on Gyarados. Oh no, they woke up. Okay. Probably not gonna make it through the next turn, so let's heal up Gyarados to be our next guy out. And all that defense, when you switch a Pokemon out, all those temporary stat buffs, like, actually, we have an opportunity. Let's try it. Oh, we got it. This battle's over. This battle's over. We're guaranteed to, survive him at this point. Okay. Let's actually bring Wigglytuff back out. We know you could take it. We'll bulk up on defense, and that'll be the battle. We know you're gonna survive this. No, you did not survive this. Okay. Alright, fine. We'll get serious with this and actually, pull out our big guns. Dragon Rage. Okay. Alright. They're hurt by poison. It's gonna get worse every single turn. And they use Slam. Yep, and the damage knocks them out. Good. That's it. That's it for Lance. Beedrill got to level 46, and we defeated Lance. That's it. I hate to admit it, but you're a Pokemon master. I still can't believe my dragons lost to you, H. You are now the Pokemon League champion. Or you would have been, but you have one more challenge ahead. You have to face another trainer. His name is Gary! He beat the Elite Four before you. He is the real Pokemon League champion. Alright. So let's, you know, I didn't get a lot of my best items out of, yeah, I didn't get a lot of my best items out of, storage. So Wigglytuff. Yeah, I'm actually not as worried about Gary as I was about Lance. You know, this is maybe the third time I've This is like, actually, in all honesty, this might be like the third time in my whole life I've gone against the Elite Four with a fully legitimate, non-like Game Sharked in team that I made for just for fun purposes. So yeah, I probably have been significantly overestimating how tough this is, because when I was a lot younger, I was a lot less experienced, obviously, so yeah, we're actually running low on some of our more potent healing items. We only have 1 soda pop left, 10 lemonades. We only have a total of 18 heals left. Okay. Yeah, we are, by healing in this way, I'm basically putting my money on the idea that, okay, I'm not going to use an HP just for like 5 more HP. Hey there, Reliat. We just beat Lance rather easily. I was surprised by how easily it was to beat him up. But Clackboy saying, you can imagine a Lunarian wearing Ash's signature hat and a Dorworm acting as my Pokemon. Yeah, that would be cute. I remember once, just as a thought experiment, I gave Dorworms like a Pokemon moveset. I think they had like Wrap, Poison Sting, and a couple of others. And there's abilities, which are not a thing in later games. Hey, I was looking forward to seeing you, H. My rival should be strong to keep me sharp. While working on Pokedex, I looked all over for powerful Pokemon. Not only that, I assembled teams that would beat any Pokemon type. And now, I'm the Pokemon League champion. H, do you know what that means? I'll tell you. I am the most powerful trainer in the world. Uh-oh. Final boss time. He got himself like this fly new jacket with like a fur collar on it. Gee whiz. And Gary wants to fight. You know he's serious. He actually has 6 Pokemon. I actually, yeah, I forgot the order his Pokemon came in. Enemy, he's glowing. Uh-oh. We better, we'll take care of that with, Reliat saying that they're in the VTuber database now. Congratulations. Yeah, I think, if I remember correctly, isn't that, I think that's I didn't bother looking. I know very little about it, but for some reason, I imagine it focusing more on, I guess, the sort of anime-flavored VTubers, more so than the furry and furry-adjacent VTubers like me. Yeah, I'm not in it. I mean, look at me. I have, like, fewer than 5 followers, so... Oh, okay, they're furries and they're alright. And that's another thing. I don't look for streamers or for VTubers specifically because they're furry or furry-adjacent either. But, yeah, someday maybe I'll make it big, but, I'm having fun right now with all of you guys, so thank you. Let's... Yeah, I don't want to... Yeah, I only have 3 power points left for Thunder. Yeah, and you gotta start somewhere, right? I'm bigger than you, but, I mean, as small as... When people talk about small VTubers, I am smaller than small. And I'm not saying that to, denigrate myself or anything. That's just sort of how it is, and I don't mind. If I had a problem with it, I would have stopped streaming a while ago. I'm having a blast right now, so... yeah, let's use Quick Attack and put an end to this. Yeah, they're level 46 now, and there's 6,000 VTubers on Twitch out of a 240 million database. I should collab with others? Yeah, here's the thing. I'm friendly with a lot of other like streamers and other VTubers, but they are all astronomically larger than me, to the point where I really don't think it would be appropriate to even ask to collaborate with them. and like we're pals and talk like off, you know, not just, you know, in each other's chats or whatever. But I personally, they collabed with someone who was only 15K followers, and that's the thing, like, like if someone asked me, that would be one thing, but I'm not going to ask, like, all my VTuber, like, the people that I'm friends with outside of Twitch, you know, not just, like, you know, in each other's chats or whatever, they're all, like, professional VTubers. You know, so, oh yeah, I definitely wouldn't ask them on stream, you know. But, yeah, but I'm happy with the relationship I have with them. It's no one's responsibility to, you know, collab with me to make me get bigger. Now, if they say, hey, I like your energy, whatever, you want to be on my stream or whatever, then yeah, sure, why not? But that hasn't happened yet, and I'm fine with that. So there's gonna send out Alakazam next. Let's have... Yeah, okay. I think this is gonna work out. No, actually, I'm gonna send out Wigglytuff for... No. What do I want to try to do? If I try to... I'm gonna try to badly poison them. I do think they have full restores. I think Gary does have full restores, so... I want to be careful about this. Uh-oh, this might suck. This might suck. Will we survive? No, we will not survive. Down goes Beedrill. Okay. I was just hoping he'd do something else first, but... Yeah, how about we send out... There's so many options here, it's interesting how many different options I have, but... Okay, so we don't have... Let's try to use... If we try to poison them with Poison Sting. Nope! Nidorino fainted. Okay. And we haven't used Charizard for anything in a while, so... Is Paralysis plus using Flash a lot gonna be the trick to, Okay, he survived. That's more than some of my other guys have done so far. Okay, we'll use... Now let's continue by... Use a Hyper Potion. Okay, we've chosen... They gained armor, huh? Okay. Let's, Yeah, why did you do that? That was a waste of a move. We'll try to... Yeah, we'll keep trying to, reduce their accuracy. And yay, the paralysis worked. And oh no! Ah! Will we make it? Will we make it? Yeah, we should make it. We should be okay. Alright. We should... Okay, nice. Okay, the attack missed. Yay, 62 HP. Okay. We could... Alright, they're fully paralyzed. You know... We're gonna... I want to save... Yeah, I want to save the Thunder for the Blastoise that we know is coming. Yeah, so we're actually going to chip away at them using Quick Attack. And eventually they'll, I guess they'll use a full restore, maybe? Okay, they use Quick Attack. Yeah, we're doing good. We're doing good. I don't know why they keep using... Yeah, this good AI really is something, huh? Alright. Yeah, this actually worked out pretty good. No! Why? Okay, finally they actually, We're like a move or two away from, oh, critical hit. No, not again. Okay. Yeah, keep using Psybeam. Keep using that. That's what we want to see. We want to see Psybeam. Oh, they're confused too, huh? No, why'd you hurt yourself? This sucks. Okay. Yay, the attack missed. Okay. Alright, keep doing... Please, either break out of confusion or just don't hurt yourself. Come on, come on. Yeah! Yeah, that's right. And no longer confused. Critical hit. Fully paralyzed. Yes, yes, yes. Quick attack. And... yeah. Yeah, that's right. Good. Gary's about to use Rhydon. Let's bring out Gyarados for this. This looks like a job for Gyarados. I believe he has an Arcanine as a fire type, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, they're like nearly 20 levels higher than me, so... Nice! About to use Arcanine. No, we're gonna stick... Yeah, we're gonna... Yeah, that did not work. Oh, come on. Our last Hydro Pump. No! Our last Hydro Pump. Really? Okay. Yeah, I forgot to get all my ethers, all my, like, good HP restoring moves out of... Nice. We didn't even need Surf. It worked out fine. About to use Exeggutor. Oh, yes. I think. Yeah, I think we've actually got this in the bag. Don't want to get cocky at the last second, but I think we've got this. Okay. Fire Blast. The move we just taught Charizard not so long ago. Nah. Yeah, of course you'd fall asleep right at the end. Okay. Time to get out. Actually. I might as well use it. Nice. All sleeping Pokemon wake up. And Barrage. Hit 2 times. Yeah, let's, Fire Blast again. Oh, not quite, not quite. And their attack missed. We will use... Didn't even use... Oh, survived by just 1 HP. And... Nice. Okay, that does it. With the move we learned back at level 9 in Viridian Forest. Yeah, you better level up after that. Trying to learn Flamethrower. Let's forget Ember and learn Flamethrower at the end of our last battle. Charizard learned Flamethrower. Gary's about to use Blastoise. Just for the heck of it. Let's see how far we can get with Charizard. Wow, critical hit, not very effective. Our final opponent, our final Pokemon of the final trainer of the game. Charizard got knocked out. That's okay, because we have a powerful friend we bring in for these occasions. We could use Thunder twice. Come on. Nice, it hit, it hit. And 1 hit point away. They're paralyzed. They used bite. Yeah. I press the A button on my gamepad and the game is over. We win. We win. I did not think we'd beat the Elite Four and Gary our first time around, but... And... That's GG. That's the game. Raichu gained 2,925 experience points. Raichu grew to level 48. And H defeated Gary, the final trainer of the game. My only disappointment is that we never leveled up to learn Nidorino's final move, therefore we never evolved them into Nidoking. That's my only real regret of this playthrough. And that I didn't finish it at least a year ago, but that's another story. No! That can't be! You beat my best! After all that work to become League Champ, my reign is over already! It's not fair. H got 6,435 Pokédollars for winning. Why? Why did I lose? I never made any mistakes raising my Pokémon. Darn it, you're the new Pokemon League champion, although I don't like to admit it. I stopped giving him that nasally... Oh, listen, it's the ending. Listen to that. Hey, we'll do the Soto lore reading after the ending now that we beat the game, but, yeah, that's, yeah, we'll make it, maybe a longer one than usual to celebrate. H! I'll try to give them the anime voices from now on. So, you won! Congratulations! You're the new Pokemon League champion! You've grown up so much since you first left with Charmander. H, you have come of age. Gary, I'm disappointed. I came when you heard you beat the Elite Four. But when I got here, you had already lost. Gary, do you understand why you lost? You have forgotten to treat your Pokemon with trust and love. Without them, you will never become a champ again. H, you understand that your victory was not just your own doing. The bond you shared with your Pokemon is marvelous. H, come with me. I was so disappointed as a kid that there wasn't like a final town filled with, you know, Pokemon masters to battle against and, you know, rooms with like, you know, buildings with new Pokemon lore and whatever. It's just this room with a PC where you get entered into the Hall of Fame. Ahem, congratulations, H. This floor is the Pokemon Hall of Fame. Pokemon League champions are honored for their exploits here. Their Pokemon are also recorded in the Hall of Fame. H, you have endeavored hard to become the new League champion. Congratulations, H, you and your Pokemon are Hall of Famers. And we... Wigglytuff, level 46. Gyarados, level 45. Raichu, level 48. Nidorino, level 44. I guess having a well-balanced team is far more significant than having high levels, because I did not expect... I thought I'd have to level up significantly in order to beat them, not let alone on my first try. Charizard, level 46. Playtime, 53 hours, 27 minutes. Our Pokedex rating is, not that... It's okay, not that great. And, that's GG. Yeah, director Satoshi Tajiri, the sort of key creator. Oh yeah, this is going. There's Mr. Masuda, who's now Ken Sugimori. Man, I wish these credits would go by a little slower so we could read everyone's names out. But yes, and it's kind of funny. It's kind of simultaneously sad and relieving to think. It's very plausible that if I lived to a ripe old age and the world holds together enough for me to enjoy it and be around to stream in it, I could imagine myself never playing through this game from beginning to end like this again. Not like this, like as in on stream, but I could, unless I was doing Pokemon Yellow, which I never played through before, or I, got the urge in me to, try to complete my red version Pokedex, get all the Pokemon that are possible in the red version without trading. Unless I decided to do that, I could see myself never necessarily playing through this from beginning to end again. Now, maybe someday I'll play through Pokemon Leaf Green, which I've played about maybe 20% of the way through on my Game Boy Advance cartridge. But I don't see myself... Executive Director Hiroshi Yamauchi, who is the president of Nintendo at this time. And, the end. That's it. Okay, it actually does go back to the title screen. And we'll see that on the title screen... Yeah, we've got we're back in Pallet Town. And look at our... Oh, wow. I forgot, they don't heal your Pokemon. They actually leave you with your team as they were the moment of your final victory. So, I think... You know what I think? I think... Maybe we'll, You know what? I know what I want to do. I want to go back to Pokemon Pinball. But, what I'll do... Well, first, we've got a Sodor lore reading to redeem. So let's break out our finest Island of Sodor lore book. And read a little more about the Coldefell Railway. So, the carriage shed at Kirk-Macon Station. Alright. The carriage shed at Kirk-Macon Station has 2 roads and is long enough to hold 9 bogie coaches under cover. These 56-seater saloons form the entire passenger stock of the railway. Their interior furnishing is somewhat Spartan, but they are the height of luxury compared with the coaches provided when the line was open. 5 were open-sided, but with a roof and waterproof curtains which could be let down for protection in bad weather. The 6th offered no protection at all. It was most unpopular and soon withdrawn, but some of the curtain stock lingered on till fully phased out in the 1920s. Each saloon coach had a closed-off compartment in front from which, on the upward journey, the guard has a clear view of the line ahead. He could warn his engine crew in the rear of any obstruction. The position is reversed on the downward run. He must then be on alert to use his emergency brake on warning from the engine crew. This brake is very powerful and can bring the coach to a standstill in only a few yards. 2 other vehicles are stored in the carriage shed. The staff call them the trucks. Basically, they are flat wagons made in the works from the wheels and frames of 2 former open-sided coaches. A small passenger and guards compartment is at the front. Then comes a water tank, and on the rest of the flat portions can be pegged in suitable positions to hold any type of load required. For instance, every day, first thing in the morning, from Easter to Michaelmas, the truck is loaded with 400 gallons of water and 1 ton of coal, while the station men and the staff of Summit Restaurant climb aboard with whatever stores they are likely to need during the day. They must reach the top whatever the weather at Devil's Back, and must be liable to be called out at any time in case of accident, rescue, or other emergency. They are therefore important vehicles and always kept available on their own road in the shed. Hey there, Azurest. You got in time, were they going in time for the Sodor lore reading? Well, we beat the game. We beat Pokemon. Oh, doggone, I dropped my mouse. If you're wondering what that frown was for, I thought I dropped the mouse, but I actually dropped the gamepad. I used my keyboard to, control the text here. So yeah, we beat Pokemon Red, and we're gonna play some. Once we get through this Sodor lore reading, we're gonna play a little Pokemon Pinball, and do a break, and maybe we'll swap to something else. Maybe Pokemon Puzzle Challenge. So the engine shed now has 3 roads, and is far more commodious and well equipped than it used to be. Commodious. That's a new word for me, but I understand exactly what it means. I never saw that word before. Commodious makes it, it is ample with accommodations, but out of context, it makes it sound like there are a lot of toilets inside it. And well equipped than it used to be. A small shed with 2 roads was provided at first. This was adequate for the 5 engines ordered from Switzerland for the opening of the line, and certainly for the 4 which remained after Godred's accident. Okay, these 4, Ernest, Wilfred, Coldy, and Shane Duany, worked the traffic successfully for many years, but they began to age, and though carefully maintained, the crunch came when it was apparent 2 of them, Coldy and Shane Duany, would be needing a heavy overhaul in the very near future. Accordingly, 3 new locomotives were ordered. With the arrival of the first, number 6, Coldy, the most urgent case was sent away, and he was followed 6 months later by Shane Duany when number 7 and 8 had been delivered. The engine shed was enlarged at this time and given 3 roads it now has. It was also equipped to deal with all the repairs except for the very heaviest. Each locomotive is lovingly maintained by its own crew, and friendly rivalry between crews ensures that standard is high. Heavy overhauls are now no problem either. As mentioned above, with the decline of steam on the mainland, Sir Topham Hatt has seen to it that the Northwestern Railway works at Croven's Gate are equipped with machinery and craftsmen to be able to tackle any type of steam locomotive overhaul. Expensive journeys to overseas for the Coldy-Fell locomotives are thus no longer necessary. One final note on the engines. The mountain engines differ from conventional steam engines not only in looks but in the way they move themselves along. In an ordinary steam engine, the power from the cylinders is applied through piston and connecting rods to the driving wheels. In our mountain engines, the rail wheels are not driving wheels at all. They merely carry the engine's weight and roll freely on their axles. The drive comes from the pinion wheels on the axles, whose teeth engage the rack rail laid in the center of the track. Alright, so yeah, that was a pretty hefty Sodor lore reading. And I think the time has come for us to play just a little Pokemon Pinball. But this time around, well, we might as well. Okay, so I'm gonna switch out of the Pokemon. We're gonna switch to. Oh, hush! You're so quiet. You're so loud. Okay, I have to quit out of here so that my analog pocket doesn't make a noise. Let's switch to Pokemon. Nah, let's just switch to Retro. Yeah, retro is more. Well, should more than suffice. There we go. And I just need to bring up my mod screen. There we go. That's what we like to see. And okay, so there. Okay, we're good now. Now you get to see. Well, I might as well swap cartridges now. We'll put. There we go. There we go. We got our. So we need to go to settings, pocket systems for GB hardware. We're going to force GB mode so that when we play Pokemon Pinball, it's going to boot up in original model Game Boy mode. for the sake of our viewers, we're gonna play it in GB Light mode, which has better contrast. And so look how for those who remember what the red table looks like, here's how the red table looks in true black and white. You see it now has a red brick pattern on the playfield. Well, and it's not a red brick pattern, but just the brick pattern implies the color red, even though we can't display it on the screens. That's some really thoughtful game design by Jupiter Corporation and HAL Laboratories, who designed this game running off of the good old Attack of the Gator engine. And in 10 minutes, we will switch over to... We'll do our midstream break. We'll maybe play Pokemon Puzzle Challenge for around about an hour, and I'll call it a stream. And yeah, that should be that'll make for a good stream. All right. You know what? And I just considered, since we have, you know, the setup I do for Pokemon Stadium should also allow for some time with Pokemon Snap as well. So let's do Pokemon Stadium and Pokemon Snap. That should be fun. Let's say, like, yeah, if we do 90 minutes of each, I think that should be a good stream. The 2 N64 Pokemon games I fondly remember. Now, well, in addition, I play Pokemon Stadium 2 as well, but I don't think that's available. And we weren't playing Pokemon. Pokemon Stadium 2 is effectively Pokemon Stadium, but for Pokemon Gold and Silver. Pokemon Stadium has an interesting release history, because they I think they're just trying to capitalize. When Pokemon Mania hit in Japan, it was really out of nowhere. So I think in the rush to try to get an N64 Pokemon experience out while the iron was still hot, so to speak, they rushed out a Pokemon Stadium which only had 40 Pokemon available to play in full 3D. And then in Japan, Pokemon Stadium 2 was released sometime later, once all 151 Pokemon were fully programmed and ready into the game. So basically, what should have been DLC, basically back before you release an incomplete game and then sell the proper version or as an update or as a paid DLC downloadable content, instead of doing that, they just released the incomplete game and then made you pay full price for the complete version as a separate cartridge. So maybe in that sense, the modern DLC heck we're in could be thought of as maybe a favorable compromise in certain aspects. But in America and outside of Japan, fortunately they released Japan's Pokemon Stadium 2 as thanks for Clackboy for highlighting our tip jar. Never necessary to support me with paid subscriptions or cheering with bits or donating on my tip jar on Ko-fi, but it is deeply appreciated, and it'll help. I'm going to spend that money in making the stream a better experience for all of you. Because if I cared about making money with my stream, I'd be running it in a very different manner. I care more about making content that's meaningful and enjoyable for me, the content I would like to see as a streamer that I haven't discovered elsewhere. And for my little handful of really diehard followers, those of you in chat, whether you're actively chatting or standing guard in the Silent Squad, it is quite the honor to have spent the last nearly March, April. Yeah, next month it'll be 6 years. Yeah, that's 5 fingers and 1 thumb years. So it'll be quite incredible. I'm not even bummed out by the fact that I game over there. Yeah, and our blue table has a very slight wave-like pattern on it. Or at least that's how I interpret it. But they definitely went out of their way. They went the extra mile to make sure the graphics stood out well on a black and white Game Boy screen as well as on the Game Boy Color, which was sort of the highlight feature of, it was marketed as a Game Boy. Game Boy Color game, the idea that it could be played in black and white was something that they really did not emphasize. Oh, 6 years of streaming excellence. I'm honored. And you know what? Next time around, we can... Actually, yeah, we could do Pokemon Puzzle League. We could do Pokemon... I think... Yeah, I don't think I should even have to adjust the volume much between those 3 games. Next stream, it's gonna be the 3 big spin-offs. We're gonna spend... like an hour... like, Pokemon Puzzle League, Pokemon Pinball... No, Pokemon... No, not Pokemon Pinball. Pokemon Puzzle... Yeah, we're gonna play Pokemon Stadium, Pokemon Puzzle League, and Pokemon Snap. Now, I did rent Hey You Pikachu, which is not available on Nintendo Switch Online, which is how I play my N64 games. And you know what? I just realized not only did I not level up, not only did I not get ready and prepare my N64 streaming layout, now that I want to make my model a lot bigger on screen, not only did I not prepare that, but I also didn't, yeah, I also haven't actually prepared, yeah, let's evolve Krabby. Yeah, I also didn't charge up my N64 controller. Hey, everybody! Are you a Mecha Kong and their community? Were, if I remember correctly, they were watching some horrendously violent cartoons. Cover your mom's eyes, everybody. Don't let all you teenage 90s anime fans with your, like, third-generation copied, fan-subtitled VHS tapes, which is how I watched, me and my brother watched Lupin the Third and Vampire Hunter D back in the 90s. Yeah, this is not one you want your parents to see you watching. Lots of blood and violence, lots of adult activities that are non-violent. But it looked like a good time nonetheless. Yeah, you put Pokemon Fire Red Leaf Green like it died. Yeah, we beat Pokemon. We beat Pokemon, and I just realized I was gonna, so next time around, I did not charge up my N64 Nintendo Switch Online controller, and I didn't have time to get my new layout ready for my N64 games. But next time around, we're gonna play Pokemon Puzzle League, we're gonna play Pokemon Stadium, which was Pokemon Stadium 2, actually, in Japan. And on top of all of that, we're also gonna play Pokemon Snap. And they watched a second one called Vampire Wars that you liked a lot more than the Ninja one that I saw. Ended up seeing most of them before I dipped out. And then after that, to celebrate, we read a lot of lore about the Coldie Fell Railway. You know what? I think next time, yeah, that's what I'll do. Next time, let's do, yeah, I've got a nice stream. And we'll read a lot of Coldie Fell Railway lore. Yeah, you know what? I think we've got a big old variety, we've got some Thomas lore and some railway videos I think we'll enjoy next time around. And then we will, you know what? I'm gonna make it a thing. I'm gonna, like, prepare a little slideshow. Where I think, no, I'm getting too ambitious. Keep it simple, stupid. I barely will have time to even prepare for the Pokemon N64 games I want to play. But I think we could honor a Pokemon video, or a train video, for our enjoyment next time around. Yeah, I think I know exactly. I think I could do something without it getting too ambitious. We'll see. I'll have to dedicate a lot of time to it. Yeah, no. You see me waffling. You see me like, how ambitious do I want to get next time around? So, Vampire Wars, was it as good as the Tekken movie we saw, about a week and change ago? Yeah, Tekken. Yeah, Mecha Kong has been showing a lot of good, like, sort of low quality, high enjoyment. And it's not like so bad it's good type anime. It's like, hey, the studio didn't have a lot of money, but they cared about what they were doing, and it got a 90s era English dub of non-A-list voice actors who are doing the best they can, but, you know what kind of quality you're expecting. This is the kind of VHSs that, you know, you get like third generation traded from like a, like I remember like one of my brother's friends, he used to actually, like in the 90s, he had like a machine, this wacky contraption hooked up to his VCR with a typewriter that you'd like manually put in the subtitles and copy the tape, and it was a very complicated sort of thing. But yeah, next week, yeah, I was working on a playthrough of Pokemon Red from 2024 until 2026. Now I took a couple of breaks to work on some sort of videos critiquing I think poor autism advocacy on YouTube. So I took a while to make some videos focusing on that. But if anyone's interested in looking at my 90% of my VODs, I'd say 85 to 95% of my... Now I do have to go back, and I guess I might as well just make one giant VOD covering the rest of my videos. And there are all my socials. You can see my Twitter that I haven't logged into for months. I need to start posting on Blue Sky, I guess. You know. Alright, so I'm doing my midstream break now. I think I know what I'll do for the back half of this stream. I'm gonna play some Pokemon Puzzle Challenge, which I have sitting on top of my computer right now. And then we'll take a 10-minute break. We'll play some Pokemon Puzzle Challenge and call it a stream for now. But that's for later. First, we're gonna take our break. Yeah, that's what. And we'll set the timer for 10 minutes. I'll use this opportunity to run some ads so they don't interrupt our actual gameplay. And when we come back, hopefully an hour or more, and I'll look through my Game Boy Color pile, see what else we have to maybe enjoy. And hey, an ad break was going to start in 3 minutes automatically anyway. So I'll get up, refill my water bottle, and we'll play it by ear and have a good rest of our evening. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you all soon. Hey, we're back, and why bother waiting? Let's just get right back into it. Hi everyone, we beat Pokemon Gold earlier, and you know what? We could just, let's hide that, and let's hide that. There's nothing coming up next, but I am more than happy to spend some more time with y'all and play some Pokemon Puzzle Challenge. Okay. There we go. Everything's good. Now, I had to go ahead and remove the force to run in Game Boy mode option, because if I did not deactivate that, what would have happened was that, Kalakaboy is in chat. He's saying something I probably don't do tomorrow, but tomorrow is Tomb Sweeping Day in China. Families visit cemeteries and clean the gravesites of loved ones. They will also light candles and leave food offerings. It's very similar to Mexico's Day of the Dead. Oh, that's interesting. I wonder the ways and how, if that's maybe celebrated or observed in different ways, since China now, except for I think extremely rare circumstances, now requires cremation of the dead at this point. And I know traditionally, you know, they just because of the sheer population and amount of available space, I guess. But so I wonder if maybe some of the customs and how that's observed have changed. Let's start with basic marathon mode. We'll start easy. We'll see how far. Actually, no. We'll start with normal mode. We'll go with Cyndaquil because Fire Mouse for the win, right? But that's tomorrow. So if it's tomorrow in terms of Eastern Standard Time, does that, you know what? I just realized I'm not used to this upside down blue triangle, blue square. Is that something that I guess only appears in normal and when I don't go on easy mode? Because that's not like this upside down blue thing. That's not a standard Panel de Pon piece. I don't think I've seen that anywhere else in Pokemon. So I guess maybe this mode has more pieces in it. Yeah, but the point is, I didn't want to. I know when I go to easy mode, I can end up playing for like 30 minutes, and I didn't want to play this mode for that long. So we're on normal. So we already have some different pieces to play with. This is one of those games that I daydreamed about getting and you know, playing, you know, on the bus or on the train. And I don't know, like something about the music, the nature of the music, and the vibe with, yeah, the vibe of the game in general with the music and everything. It's one of those games that reminds me of playing Game Gear in the backseat of my parents' car late at night. But that would have been earlier in the 90s and before Pokemon. There's a vibe of certain games, like Sonic the Hedgehog, well, any game I'd play on Game Gear back then. Okay. So like Ayrton Senna's Monaco GP, Batman Returns, Sonic 1 and 2, Sonic Triple Trouble is definitely a big favorite, but Easter's always changing dates. Tomb Sweeping Day is a fixed date, so it's just a coincidence. You know, I didn't even think of, you know, I have like things in my professional life like going on relating to Easter, and yet I didn't even think of the implications of, yeah, that Tomb Sweeping Day happened to be like on Easter. I wonder, I mean, culturally, I imagine like the traditional Chinese holiday would have more cultural impact than Easter, which is, you know, a Christian holiday from, you know, originating from, you know, a different part of the world. I would imagine that even in terms of like just the secular or I guess pagan aspects of Easter, I would imagine that Easter would have more of an impact on perhaps Japanese holiday culture than Chinese holiday culture. But I'm not an expert on that. I haven't read any books or even watched any documentaries on television or on YouTube about it. That's just sort of my general perception. Because I know like a lot of a lot of holidays that are celebrated in America, even if it's strictly relegated to these sort of more commercial or more like a-religious aspects of it. Like with Christmas, I know there's a tradition in Japan that's sort of unique to Japan where families who are, you know, observing, well, not observing, I think even, that are just sort of celebrating, you know, just the holiday in its commercial sort of a religious aspect, will order KFC chicken on Christmas Day. And I think that originated from a particular KFC proprietor that was being interviewed on a Japanese daytime talk show. And he made up this story about, oh yes, the Americans, they love to order Kentucky Fried Chicken on Christmas Day. And because of that, it became a popular thing. And I saw an example of sort of like a desktop, like a sort of a desktop statuette that you put in like a curio cabinet that had, it was a statuette of Colonel Sanders, the founder of Kentucky Fried Chicken, and it said Uncle Sam on it. And it's like, that's just sort of a perfect, like example of some, not inoffensive, at least to me, cultural appropriation. How sort of cultural memes and cultural elements sort of get distorted and bent as they sort of circulate across the globe. Where someone in Japan accidentally made a statuette of Colonel Sanders and titled it Uncle Sam. And Bill Preston is saying that they refuse to believe that people actually eat at KFC. It's just a big meme. Well, I'm gonna tell you, maybe it's just me. Maybe I just walked in on it and everyone else were actors. But in spite of being a vegetarian since 2001, I actually do, maybe 2 or 3 times a year, go to KFC. So I like, once in a while, like, I guess I have some kind of weird brain parasite that likes their biscuits. And I like their mac and cheese and their mashed potatoes. And I don't think the gravy's vegetarian, but I like their mashed potatoes and their mac and cheese. And the reason I like it is a stupid reason. Because the mac and cheese and mashed potatoes at KFC reminds me of the mac and cheese and mashed potatoes that you'd get at a hospital. And as hospital food or hospital cafeteria food. So that's not a very normal reason to like their mac and cheese and mashed potatoes. Yeah, no one actually eats the chicken. You know what? If I did not stop eating KFC when I did, if I did not become a vegetarian in 2001, I would say that I would probably have significant health problems by now because of all of their popcorn chicken that I used to eat. Yeah, I like that a lot more than I should have. And unfortunately, the only attempts to simulate popcorn chicken that I've seen are, I think Morningstar had, like, popcorn chicken nuggets at one time. But all it really was just, like, it was just, like, their breaded mock chicken nuggets. Which tastes so much like the chicken nuggets they used to serve at my public school cafeteria that I'm convinced that the public school cafeteria chicken nuggets didn't have any chicken in them to begin with. They're curious what inspired me to transition to being a vegetarian in 2001. Well, it was an interesting time in my life and time in the world, and I just decided, you know what, not for me, and I just stopped eating meat at that point. Now, and that's funny because a lot of like hardcore like animal rights like extremists, like they can't, like when I've been on like vegetarian and vegan forums, and the fact that I'm even saying forums tells you how long ago this was, like the actual like animal rights extremists like could not stand me because I'm like friends with people who have like of lower economic status, who have had their whose families have had to hunt and raise cattle for meat in order to survive. And I'm like, yeah, I don't hate people for eating. And I know my friend was respectful when she hunted and fished, to the extent that she could be, and now that she's in a position where she doesn't have to, she's almost a vegetarian and eats vegan a lot of the time. But I remember some animal rights extremists on Tumblr giving her grief years and years ago. But, and Bill loves cooking with chicken too much, and someday I might, and chicken's one of those things where I used to remember, like, sometimes my mom, on occasion, she would just boil up chicken and cook it that way. And it was such a uniquely, like, flavorless kind of meat. And now I'm speaking out of character because, Lunarians, they don't eat meat. They eat mostly vegetarian, nearly vegan. And that coincides with their biology. And their biology, they are omnivores, but they are well suited for eating meatless, especially with, and their doorworms are herbivores / frugivores. They mostly eat, like, nuts, doorworms particularly eat nuts, fruits, and berries, and seeds. And Lunarians eat similarly, and lots of greens. So that sort of coincided with some of their, cultural practices as well. They're, like, nearly entirely vegetarian / vegan, but they're not motivated by, I guess, the animal rights movement as we would know it, its history in our own timeline, back on Earth of Redemption Center 1. But, one of the funny things about doorworms is that, some doorworm lore right here, if you weren't ready for that, some, hot doorworm lore, is that, if they have a host, like, if they take a host animal that is normally a, obligate carnivore, their doorworms do adapt their host to be able to eat a, vegetarian diet, and a meatless diet. And that's sort of it wasn't like an ideological thing, it's just sort of a play up on the idea of like, oh no, some crazy alien parasite has infected its host, and usually it makes them, like, really, like, vicious and bloodthirsty, but with doorworms, it's like, no, actually, you now have the ability to eat a meatless diet that, when you otherwise would not have. It's sort of the opposite of the cliche with, alien parasitic creatures. Bill is saying in chat that a large percentage of their home-cooked meals are stir-frying chicken and then making a side of super greens like they have at Panda Express. I am really disappointed. A few years ago, I went to Panda Express and got, like, some kind of vegetarian stir-fry or something. They do not have many vegetarian options at Panda Express anymore, and even just within the realm of what they have in terms of just meals in general, let alone even vegetarian-friendly ones, the options are just really disappointing. I was really shocked. Like, I could go to an actual ma-and-pop vegetarian, like, well, not even a vegetarian restaurant, just a ma-and-pop, like, Chinese takeout place and call in delivery, and they'll have a more varied menu with more vegetarian options than Panda Express. And and the thing is, there may be things you could ask for in person at Panda Express, but I was just glancing at what you could see on their, Postmates and on their Uber Eats menu. It's not very varied and not a lot of vegetarian options I saw, so I'm like, I could just go to an actual, order from a mom-and-pop Chinese delivery place, support a local business, and have a lot more options to choose from. Like, even just the fact that they don't have, like, a General Tao's tofu is just, like, a huge missed opportunity, just as a basic, and in fact, I have half a mind. I have to restrain myself from doing so. I have to be a little more frugal, but I do need to restrain myself from ordering some General Tao's tofu. And Megakong is saying that they only order Panda Express at the last, yeah, they don't know what Panda Express's secret is, Bill's saying in chat, but they can't get your greens to taste like theirs. When I get my new apartment and I do my hydroponic a setup. I'm gonna have a few herbs like parsley and oregano and stuff, but I'm also I'm gonna grow some mustard greens, and and then the seeds obviously I'm gonna harvest for mustard, possibly. And I'm also gonna grow some pepper plants, not like peppers like that you'd make chili out of, like bell peppers or jalapenos. I mean like peppers just in terms of being able to have some peppers like peppercorns, like those type of peppers. And I think they make you can make greens from those too, but they love mapo tofu and braised tofu. And one thing that does annoy me that vegetarians and vegans do sometimes, and I guess the Western or American context, is they will assume a tofu dish is therefore, I mean, in American culinary practice, I guess you could assume a tofu dish is going to be a vegetarian dish most of the time. But, like, tofu is not... And you see, like, non-vegetarians or people, like, do this. They'll assume that a dish with tofu is inherently going to be a vegetarian dish. Or, yeah, I've even heard, a lot of people seem to be under the impression that tofu is a meat substitute and that it was created in the 90s. And it's like, no, like, with the exception of General Tso's tofu, or General Tao's tofu, depending on how you want to pronounce it, I would say that very few of the foods that I like that use tofu, very few of them are using the tofu as a meat substitute. I like tofu as its own ingredient. Like, even before I became a vegetarian, I did not like it as a meat substitute. As a meat substitute, tofu can be an incredibly disappointing experience, but when it's actually cooked, when it's used as its own unique ingredient, you can do a lot of cool stuff with it. Okay. We're gonna get a combo right here, give us enough time to shuffle, make some more matches. There we go. There we go. Have some time to work down our stack a bit. We'll use these stars here to make a combo of 4 right there. And mix those 3 and these 3 blue. I should have waited before that green down there warped in so I could have made a chain with that. But Bill Press is saying they're not a fan of soft tofu, but mapo tofu they can stand. They generally have to fry it up and make it unhealthy. Hey, it's kind of funny. Like, depending on how you cook it, it's like when I get stuff from Taco Bell and have them substitute beef for the with refried beans, it very easily it ends up making, even though it's junky, Saturday night, like, gamer food, it still, like, ends up being notably healthier and less harder on the stomach. Because I've had people like, oh, wow, like, I tried ordering, with stuff without beef, and, like, Taco Bell doesn't, like, send me to the bathroom so much like it is. So it must be something in the beef. But, but, yeah, Taco Bell, when I was a little kid, my parents used to take me to taekwondo lessons. Korean martial arts. This is when I'm, like, 4... and 5 or so. And I remember having fond memories of going to Taco Bell afterwards. And, yeah, and Taco Bell were the first tacos I ever had, so of course they weren't, legitimate tacos, but they were, it's my introduction to tacos, and I had fun with them. I had fun with my parents. And, Bill Press is saying they got Taco Bell like once every month or 2. I remember once with, I think it was in Mecha Kong's, no, it was in, Janked Jesus here on Twitch. He's a later night, retro streamer. We watched the Taco Bell E3 they did a couple of years ago. They did, like, an actual, back when E3 was still kind of a thing. I think E3 was actually already dead by the time they did this, but it was still called, like, Taco Bell E3 is what people called it. They did an E3, like, live stage show to talk about, like, the history, to talk about the new Taco Bell menu items and stuff like that, and it actually got me interested in Taco Bell. It was pretty cool. And they showed, like, the new sauce packet designs. They need to bring that back, do it every couple of years, because, I mean, Taco Bell, when you talk about, like, game night, food, that pilgrimage to Taco Bell drive-thru to get your big box of tacos and burritos and nachos and play, games with your friends or play some online games at home by yourself and some of your friends remotely. And I would say, like, the link between video games and Taco Bell, because I think really is the fact that to help launch the original Xbox back in 2001, and the fact that Microsoft decided to partner with Xbox was a genius. Like, it was a real genius marketing move, because they know, okay, we're marketing this to late teens, you know, college seniors, you know, like high school seniors, college freshmen, you know, got their first, you know, dorm room or you know, apartment with some friends, and they get it. Okay, we're gonna design this system. 4 controller ports built in, breakaway controller cables, you know, because the wireless controller technology wasn't quite there yet. But, you know, you have those breakaway controller cords, which makes it harder to buy original Xbox stuff nowadays. But it was oh, doggone. We had a lot of fun. We played for 18 minutes and 52 glorious seconds. But let's try some of the other modes now. You know, you and the boys, you know, as far as their marketing, their conceptually how they conceived all of this, right? We know it's not just guys playing; you have other people playing too. But especially back then, in terms of how you market it, how you set it up, you know, to appeal to your target demographic, as they so marketed it at the time. Okay, let's play clear all stages. Yeah, let's play. No, let's play. Yeah, let's play a new game. Okay, yeah, let's start from. Let's go in normal mode. Let's battle. So this is, even though we just beat Pokemon Red and Blue, this game is going to be based on the Johto region, which is the region of Pokemon featured in Pokemon Gold and Silver, the sequel to Pokemon Red and Blue. And so in the background, we see an artistic game representation of the Johto region, which is to the west of Kanto. And in fact, Johto and Kanto share their Pokemon League. And Pokemon Gold and Silver, you could visit the Kanto region after you beat the main quest in Pokemon Gold and Silver. Oh man, I'd love to play Pokemon Gold and Silver, but it'll be a couple of years down the line. Look, given what happened with Pokemon Red and Blue, it's gonna be a couple of years before I even consider touching Pokemon Red and Blue and any other traditional RPG. Like maybe a Mario RPG of some sort, but it's gonna be a while. And if we do play any traditional RPGs, it'll be in, like, if there's like an easy mode or a journalist mode offered, I will play. Oh, Soul Silver or Heart Gold. Oh, it'll be years ahead, and I can't wait. Oh, and I'm like up to Booster's Tower, and the path will be harder than those on the easy path. You will see trainers other than the gym leaders too. When you beat those trainers, we'll just wait and see. It will be tough though. Yeah, so this quest is based on Pokemon Gold and Silver. Yeah, and I was playing the Super NES and then I stopped. You know, honestly, I think if we play that game, we're gonna continue with the Super NES version. I think we'll continue with the Super NES version. I still have that save file on my Super NES Classic. Yeah, if they did not announce that Switch version when they did, we certainly would have continued. Yeah, so we're seeing a lot of music and theming and characters from Pokemon Gold and Silver, actually, here. Yeah, so I guess the opposing Pokemon just kind of has an HP bar that we're trying to reduce by getting combos and chains. Alright, can we do have an opportunity to make a combo and make a match that clears those garbage blocks. Which works differently than how Pokemon Puzzle League works. Yeah, next Saturday is going to be a Snowden Mountain Railway. We're gonna start with some special Pokemon lore, I'd say. No, we're gonna start with 10 minutes of versus pinball. I'm making it weird and complicated. We're gonna start with some Sodor lore nonsense, and then some Pokemon fun. Yeah, a lot. It'll be a special of Pokemon trading card game. Well, not trading card game. We're gonna do a Pokemon N64 special, is basically what it's gonna be. But first, we're gonna dork out with some Sodora lore stuff. Specifically, dealing with the Snowden Mountain Railway and its Island of Sodor equivalent. Oh yeah, we're gonna get a nice combo here. Nice! We did it! Victory! Okay. Yeah, and I honestly, I doubt we'll ever play the Mario RPG for Switch, unfortunately, but I would play Paper Mario 1000 Year Door. I think is something we could do, especially if they added like a easy mode to it or something like that. And the thing is, the easy mode would not be due to lack of skill. It would just be for the sake of getting the game through with quicker. But my short-term plans are, we're gonna do a special for the Pokemon N64 games. Yeah, we're gonna do the Pokemon N64 games. And then I have, I'll keep it a secret. I might have alluded to here and there what I'll be playing next, but we'll be playing a game that did not debut on Nintendo. We're gonna play a game that did not have it debuted in the mid-90s, before the release of Nintendo 64, and it eventually got a port to Nintendo systems, but that did not come. Okay, how about this? If you know what this is, don't spoil it. You can tell me if you have an inkling, and no, inkling is not Splatoon. We're probably never gonna play Splatoon. I'm just warning you right now, even though it looks like fun. But it is a game that, it did not debut on a Nintendo system. It eventually it was a mid-90s release. Wow, we slammed them with combos so hard we depleted all our HP. So it's a mid-90s home console release that did not get a port to a Nintendo system until 2001. But it had a sequel that did debut on Nintendo 64 before 2001. So if you could figure out what game, we'll be playing that game and its sequel. 2 weeks from today, a fortnight from now. F-O-R-T-N-I-G-H-T, not F-O-R-T-N-I-T. We will not be diving out of a purple school bus. Hey, you kept me waiting. Let's cut the chit-chat. Yeah, it's Whitney, the sore loser trainer. She's a gym leader of Goldenrod City in Pokemon Gold and Silver, and she has a huge hissy fit when you beat her, and she refuses to give you the badge. And one of her disciples, I make it sound so like sort of religious. No, one of her followers, one of her fellow gym attendants, I guess, has to convince her to give you the badge. And another trainer does that as well in Pokemon Gold and Silver, makes you do an additional challenge. Alright. And we have the Goldenrod City theme as the gym battle music. Yeah, gym flunkies. That's a good term for them. Flunkies makes it sound like, I guess, like, lackey. Which is like, they're supposed to be decent trainers, they're just not the leader. Yeah, you know what? I wonder if, I don't know, students? Like, they're not like students, really. I guess flunkies isn't that bad. I guess, like, flunky lackey makes it sound like they're, like, you know, the henchman of the school bully, like a toady or something like that. You know, some kind of stooge, sycophant of the gym leader. I mean, you know, and I guess it's really interesting. If I were to rewrite Pokemon Gold and Silver, or Pokemon Red and Blue, I would make the idea that I would make the social implications or the scandal that like one of the major gym leaders of the Kanto region's Pokemon League turned out to be someone who was openly known to be the leader of Team Rocket. And boy, oh boy, is Whitney a lot easier in this game than she is in when you actually play Pokemon Gold and Silver. Yeah, Toady, Crony, Toady, Crony, Lackey, Flunky. Wonder why they all end in Y. Yeah, that's an interesting. You know, there's probably some actual etymological history or its significance there in English that I don't know about. But what I would say is that Peon does not end with Y. And it's kind of funny, Peon does not mean, you know, some underling who's so lowly as to be urinated upon by the person they're serving. But yet, it's sort of, it's often understood to mean that, and it's not. It's actually just, that implication is and I hear piss on mentioned as well. You know, but that's kind of a coincidental association. Welcome. Will my training pay off? Yeah, the ghost type. You know, after Whitney, like this, yeah, I like the little ghosts in the backdrop for this battle. Yeah, as we finally chose someone other than, Cyndaquil for this battle. Yeah, Warcraft taught them that, Peon means dumb serf, more or less. And you know what? It's kind of, you know, the phrase villain actually meant like originally meant like an uneducated hired hand used to tend fields. So, like, for, I guess, a person of status, like a nobleman or a knight, to call someone a villain is to mean, like, oh, you are, like, a crude and uneducated person who might even, yeah, villain, yeah, I guess that's where the term villain came from. And because I saw, like, this tapestry, I don't know if it's a tapestry or just an old, like, illustration from the days of, I guess, feudalism, European feudalism, where, like, it was, like, I guess, some sort of farm, like, leader, but not, like, the owner, who was, like, attending, like, keeping track of, oh, so many chickens, so many cows, and okay, farm hands, here's the tasks each of you will be assigned to today, and he's kind of, like sighing, rolling his eyes with his parchment and his pen as he gives the villains of the villa. Yeah, I think villains meant those who attend to the villa's land. You know, their tasks for the day. And I guess... Oh no! Ah! I got overly confident. I finally actually, flunked out. Alright. So we'll drop that down there. There we go. Drop them down there. Drop this. And I'm just thinking about what a great day I'm gonna have tomorrow. And what I'm going to be buying from the supermarket. I mean, there are not many things I could heat up and actually cook for myself, but I could get creative if with some hot water, and some canned vegetables. I can make I could dress up my ramen a little bit. Okay. And bam. Make that combo there. Yeah, I'm so thrilled for the future of my stream. And sometime soon, I guess we'll also be debuting some of my new autism videos. And Bill's saying they're going with a bunch of family to see the Mario Galaxy movie tomorrow before work. Okay. Well, I hope you have a great time. You know, I actually do have tickets in the future to see the Mario movie. And, as my reward for restraining myself from ordering takeout tonight, I'm gonna go see the Mario Galaxy movie. I already have my seats reserved and my ticket booked. And I will, after the movie, I will go ahead and bam. Yeah, after the movie, I'm going to have my, gonna take myself out to California Pizza Kitchen and have a nice little night. So it'll be a nice little, solo date, I guess. You know, because I won't have any friends with me. It'll just be... Oh, come on! No! I was like one frame away from making a combo that would have beat him. Ah, shucks. Alright. Yeah, we're running low on Pokemon all of a sudden, but we do have Pichu unlocked at least. Yeah, we're gonna end up flunking out at this rate, but... There we go. And the cool thing is, if I want to, yeah, aside from... Okay. Yeah, you know what? I think I'm just going to actually retire. No. If I know I'm gonna be playing a particular game a lot, I can make a custom ticker. Like for next week. I could always imagine my, audiences with you. Yeah, that's... I don't know, I'd rather... I'm not more the type to imagine I've got an imaginary animal sitting on my lap. I'd rather, yeah, I don't know, I just, like... Yeah, yeah, it's a warm thought, and I know, we'll be able, those of you who will have seen the movie. So, Collectaboy, have you seen the Mario Galaxy movie? I was at, someone's house. Oh yeah, here's something I haven't talked about yet. The rocket launch. I mentioned it, I think, briefly on my Thursday stream. Yeah, how about that rocket launch on April Fool's Day? Has anyone seen the Artemis 2 launch? Yeah, you should go and watch that. I mean, humans are further than Earth right now than at any point in my lifetime, because I was born in the 80s. And the Apollo missions ended in the 70s. So yeah, we're finally find some humans around the moon. It's been a while. Now, as for the status of aerospace travel between the Earth and the Moon in Lunarian H's universe, I'll keep that as... I won't comment on that for the time being, but it's interesting, that's for sure, and it's not what one may expect. I would like to remind everyone that in Lunarian H, in my universe, the universe of the character avatar I'm using right now, it is the equivalent of 2020. He doesn't live in the future, in a future Earth. He lives in the equivalent of 2026 there as well. So that's something to keep in mind. He's not in the future or anything like that. Now, there is a lot of lore that takes place about a century ago, and then some more lore that takes place in the late 1980s. Oh, come on! Why am I, like, fludging... Ooh, why am I fludging these... I'm gonna end up getting a game over. And I'll be sad. If I get... What? If I get a game over... What games do I have to win? You know what? I have... If I game over this, I have another game we could pop in. Another Pokemon game we could pop in. And I forgot I had. It's not one I've popped in a number of years. But we have another Pokemon game for Game Boy Color that we could pop in. That actually is probably more coinciding with Pokemon... Yeah, it's probably more coinciding with Pokemon Red and Blue than this right here, which is actually more of a tie-in with Pokemon Gold and Silver. It's not more of a tie-in, it's explicitly a tie-in with Gold and Silver, rather than Red and Blue. But I think it will make a good end to our stream. Yeah, how about... Okay, there we go. Yeah, and in fact, the mere thought of it invigorates me to the point at which I don't even necessarily want to, Yeah, okay. I'm just thinking out loud of what I'll be doing next. Yeah, I know what I'll do. I know how I'll do this. I got a scheme in place. Okay. So if we use these red hearts here, we need to get rid of this garbage block. We could do that by forming a combo here with those purple ones. And we have an opportunity for another combo here with blue. Yeah, all my beloved Johto starters are all gone. You know what? We'll make the match right here. And do that combo attack there. I came so close to salvaging some of those failed runs. Make the combo there with the, Yeah, I could have made the combo with the stars, but I was thinking more about, like, getting rid of that garbage block than making the combo. And there was a combo with some of those hearts I could have did. But, in the Lunarian world, are they allowed to participate in elections? That's a very interesting question for another day. But, it's one that, we'll certainly be hearing about, once we, get into some deeper lore about the world Lunarian H inhabits. Yeah, that was a little, sorry, a little scratch on my, eyebrow there. Or I had to try to also not smudge my glasses, because, it's not, human H, behind the webcam operating the avatar. It does, have glasses as well, for those of you who may have not seen him in the past. But... oh, goodness gravy! Yes, we make the combo here. Drop that, and... make this combo. And one with... yeah! And then make the combo with the green here. No! Make another match here. One with the stars. Okay. Get ready to... okay, we just need to make matches right now. Yeah! By, like, the narrowest margin, we won. But what I will say, as a teaser, is that Lunarians are not animals. They are not anthropomorphic animals in the context of the Earth they live on. Humans, like, basically, there are two species of people on Lunarian H's Earth. They are humans, and there are two species of people, which are Lunarians and humans. But beyond that, I'll keep the secrets of the lore to myself for the time being. And thanks for the GG, Mechacon. And that's not canned animation, that's actual hand tracking with my hands. You know? Yeah. Do a backhand like some kind of gang sign. Do the front. I could do other gestures as well, but I won't, because I'm a nice person. Or at least I'd like to think that. Hello. And you know, it's so cute. Jasmine is a steel... like, in the storyline of Pokemon Gold and Silver, the steel type is newly discovered, and I think the implication is she used to be an electric or rock type trainer. Shall we start? Yeah, like, in Pokemon Gold and Silver, it's kind of implied that Pokemon eggs are a new discovery, and previously people didn't know where Pokemon came from, and that the Steel and Dark types are also newly discovered. In Heart Gold and Soul Silver, they kind of write around that, because the concept that these... and even in the Pokemon anime, it is explicitly said very early on that there are 150 kinds of Pokemon, and the idea that... and, like, in the Bill episode where they meet Bill at his lighthouse, the idea that he specifically says there are 150 kinds of Pokemon, there's implications, and actually on screen, we see earthworms, like a Pidgey grabbing an earthworm out the ground. That is not a Pokemon. There's some Japan-only promotional material that shows Ash and Pikachu and Misty and Brock walking down the street, and in the background, someone's walking a non-Pokemon dog. But as the Pokemon world became more fleshed out, sorry, I had an itch on my forehead there, it became they've decided very quickly that real animals don't exist in the Pokemon world. But then in I think the 12th Pokemon movie, they go back in time in the Pokemon world before the creation of Pokeballs. And even though they never used the phrase pocket monster, at least in the English dub of Pokemon, before the invention of Pokeballs, we see that in some parts of the world, Pokemon were simply known as magical creatures, which implies that non-magical creatures, i.e. animals, also existed in this world at some point. Whereas if non-magical creatures simply existed, they would just be known as creatures. Yeah, there we go. You got those attack blocks in. Make some matches using... Yeah, we want to make a combo there with the purple ones. We have an opportunity to get the... You know what? We'll make a combo there. Use that to shuffle some blocks down. See if we can make a match. No, we can't make a match that touches the garbage blocks. We can now, though. Okay. Yeah, make that combo. Yeah, nice. I was just so busy making combos that I get so into making combos and actually playing the game that I don't even notice how... Yeah, I don't know why. I think that one ghost-type gym leader whose name I don't even remember, I've beaten Pokemon Gold from beginning to end in its entirety only once, actually, in my entire life. I played through about 70% of the Kanto quest and on a Japanese cartridge before it even came out. This is hard to say, but good luck. Yeah, before I even actually... You know what? You know what? We're doing this. We're doing this. I think... Let's stop. Yeah, we're actually going to... We're gonna get rid of the timer. And we're gonna put in one more game. A game I didn't plan on. A game I forgot was in my library. Though we have spent many hours on it. We're gonna do just one round of a bonus game. It's probably gonna take more than 13 minutes I planned on, but we're gonna play Pokemon trading card game. Data exists when the power was turned off during a duel. Okay. Would you like to continue the game from the point saved? Continue diary, no. Oh, continue duel. Okay. We were mid-duel. So let's check. Okay. We have a Seal versus a Paris. Let's check. And my player. What have I got going on? My Pokemon. Seal and Squirtle. What is in my hand? I've got a double colorless energy, water, an Omastar, a water energy. I have not played this game in years. I forgot what's in my deck, though I was working towards rebuilding my Mercy and Friends deck. But in my play area, oh, wait, actually, let's put a water energy on Seal. Yeah, now we can attack. And Pocketboy is saying they're curious if Lunarians have gotten to the Labubu craze. I mean, they're just people like any other. Like, some are into it, some think it's ridiculous, some never heard of it before. It's the full gambit you see in our own world where it's just humans. And would Dorworms have their own Labubus too? Like, they would probably share their collection. Oh, no, I know you were collecting Labubu, right? Like, or were you just talking about it? Or were you an actual collector? I remember you mentioning, if you aren't a collector, you mentioned enough times that I would have thought you, or maybe someone close to you in your life was perhaps a collector. Alright. Oh yeah, you do collect them. Okay, I thought so. I didn't want to, like, impose that on you. So, like, do you have, like, okay, they use Bill to draw 2 cards. So do you have, like a display case? Like, do you, like, display them in where you live or anywhere? Or Or are you just more of just like you just have them and like they're not really on display or anything like that? You know, I guess it might be trickier. I used to remember people just buying a DVD case, like for putting DVD boxes with like a glass door as a cheap display case. I guess they don't really probably sell Blu-ray cases and DVD cases as much. And you know what's amazing about the Pokemon trading card game, Bill? Is that it does such an amazing job, for as simple as it is, such an amazing job actually simulating the battle system of the... Yeah, let's play Shelter. And, we'll start, building up, because I don't think Seal's gonna last too much longer. Because we don't have a Dugong or anything we could evolve, but... I feel like Seal, like the Pokemon trading card game does just such an amazing job of simulating the Pokemon battle system in the form of a physical card game, and this Pokemon trading card game is just of course, a digital version of the physical card game. And our Seal gets knocked out. Now, I miss out. I mean, there's a reason I play almost entirely retro games, and the only, like, AAA modern game that's not Nintendo related that I want to play right now is a game that I plan to play with full, like, journalist mode, easy mode on. Okay, good. I made the right... Oh, you know what? Of course, we'll just sort of luck. Our Seal gets knocked out as we have Dugong its evolved form. Yeah, I'm going to... Why did I do that? Why did I put it... I forgot I had... And, Kalakaboy is saying they only have 3. They slowly accumulate them. They have a tradition where they'll open up the Labubu mystery box while on their favorite rides at Disneyland. You know, like, at what... So, are Labubu... Like, I know of it as a franchise, and I know, like, the figurines or dolls. Are they considered figurines or dolls? They kind of... Are they, like... They kind of remind me of the old trolls with, like, the crazy hair. Like, colored hair. Is it kind of like that? Or is it, like... Sorry, I had to... scratch my cheek there for a second. But is it... Because I think of dolls. You'd think you consider them dolls? Because I think of... Do you collect, like, specifically the dolls, or do you, like, collect Labubu-related, like, tie-in merch as well? Because I remember, I was at a museum when I was a kid, and someone, like, had their California Raisins collection on display, and they had or, like, if I think of collecting Pokemon, there's collecting Pokemon cards specifically, but then there's also, like, doing anything you can. Okay, we have Mysterious Fossil. We need to have Ammonite. Okay, but we are going to actually... We're going to put a... No, we actually, from our hand... Oh, we don't have any more, actually. We don't have any more. We're going to put another Water Energy on Shelter. Hope we draw a Cloyster and actually knock out. Okay, so you have a lot of Labubu copycat merch, so it's not so much like you're collecting the brand, you just like sort of like the theming and the sort of style, but you don't really care if it's technically off-brand, it's just part of, your enjoyment of it. Alright. They put a level... Alright. They use Scratch. And... okay. Yeah, they damaged themselves. Nice. I don't know what was going on previously, but that's our first, prize card. Yeah! Oh, darn it. You don't even have a Pokemon to play with that anymore. Yeah, I just had some bad luck, I guess. We're kind of desperate, so we might as well play Mysterious Fossil. I'm glad that, I think they're still confused, so we're gonna try to keep hiding. Come on. Ah, doggone. Okay. Alright. We tried to hide in our shell, but they could still hurt themselves in confusion. Oh, now, I see, like, that, when I think of Wigglytuff, that's what I think of. That sprite right there. When I evolved my Jigglypuff into Wigglytuff in Pokemon Red, that's what I want. That's what I imagine, the creature I imagine having on my team. Look at his cute, he's just a little cute guy. Alright? But they played this before, they never got far. It's definitely one they intend to dive deeper into. Oh yeah, here comes our... Oh, so... And that's you can get 3D printed outfits. For a second I thought you... Oh, I thought you download meant like a 3D outfit, printer outfit pattern. You know, like, I'm not... If I ever... Yeah, I'm just not interested in... like 3D printing, especially. I mean, it's interesting if I had like a house where I could have like a workshop and like a lab, like I'd be happy just to have a table, a desk I could dedicate to hobby-related stuff. But yeah, but with all like their, you know, all these laws they're talking about passing, where like all 3D printers, everything you print's gonna have to be like inspected and logged with the government to make sure you're not making weapons. It's like, oh, come on. It's like they're just ruining the fun, and not even the matter of fun, just a matter of basic rudimentary civil rights, you know. Like, but anyway, I don't want to get it too much into the frustrating stuff that'll make me upset now, but I'm just hoping I draw a Cloyster. Because right now I'm relying on them basically just knocking themselves the heck out. Come on. Yeah, that's what I like to see. Okay, good. Oh yeah, and they are friends. Yeah, there's Team Rocket doesn't exist in this game. I guess this is presumed to be a world in which actual Pokemon don't exist. Yet there's an island dedicated entirely to yeah, we're gonna start building up that other shelter. Okay. And, try to hide in shell. Come on. Come on, come on. Ah, doggone. It is worth a try. And we're gonna get knocked out. How many prize cards does Daniel have left? I don't even remember what I was up to or what I was doing. But the cool thing about this is that when you lose, or maybe the weak thing about this, depending on your perspective, when you lose in this game, you don't lose any money. The only real thing at stake is your time spent on the duel. But yeah, so Team Rocket doesn't exist, but there is an evil organization called Team Great Rocket in the sequel. Yeah. Yeah, so finally, we have the opportunity to play Cloyster on top of Shelter. We have 3 more HP, and we can actually, I forgot what Cloyster even has on them. Okay, so Spike Cannon, flip 2 coins, says 30 for each. Flip a coin if heads, the offending Pokemon is paralyzed. Yeah, so let's, start kicking butt. We'll have Spike Cannon. Okay, damage check. Nice! Oh, I am happy. Okay. This is a whole new duel, as they say in the Yu-Gi-Oh! Anime. Hey, an Ammonite. Too bad my, okay. Okay, this has become a very different duel all of a sudden. Ghastly evolved into Haunter. Transparency. Whenever I attack does anything to Haunter. Haunter have Pokemon power. That's such weird writing. It should be it has Pokemon power. Lullaby. Okay. Doggone. Oh, we didn't make the sleep check. Okay. They're all packed now, so thanks for all the packing entertainment. Oh, you're packed for your big journey. Okay. 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 We don't have... You can't evolve the same turn. Darn it. Alright, fine. Yeah, we don't have... Yeah, might as well start... Okay. Come on. Yeah! We did it! Okay. They could always use that attack again, but... Alright, I'm glad I was able to be part of your journey. I remember the night before I went to England, I was watching Bill Nye the Science Guy on Netflix on the Wii on my tube TV back in my the house I lived in back then. So I remember that last night before going to England. And yeah, and I ordered a tripod on Amazon and it arrived like nice. Okay, we are very happy. We want to put that on Service Fossil and we're gonna evolve. We're gonna check. Okay, water gun. Your opponent plays with his or her face up. The power stops working. Okay. And Omastar. Okay. Okay, we're doing good. We evolve to Ammonite. Yeah. Ammonite has that Pokemon power, and we will attack with Spike Cannon. Yeah! Oh. Oh, doggone. Okay. At least we did that, 30 damage. If we got... Yeah, we're pretty close to, They drew Psychic Energy. They touched Psychic Energy to Wigglytuff. They used Lullaby, which is guaranteed sleep. Between turns. Oh, come on! Nice! We did it! Okay. Do I have fond memories of Easter egg hunting that I haven't shared before? Yeah, we had my little house in Queens, which would have only been like a few thousand feet from where Lunarian H, you know, me, would have grown up. He, or me, yeah. Yeah, we had a little house in Queens, and my parents put a few little plastic eggs with jelly beans around the house that I went and looked for. I didn't, like, believe in the Easter Bunny. I knew the lore, but the idea of... I don't know, just the idea that there was a giant rabbit running around hiding eggs just seemed kind of incongruent with how I understood the rest of the world to work. Come on. Nice. Great. So they're paralyzed and guaranteed knockout next turn. And sorry, I had a little scratch under my nose there. I like how it actually like translates directly to Lunarian H's snout. It's fun. On the model with my motion capture. Dugong. Yeah, we're just going to... Yeah, it doesn't matter whether or not this, I win this coin flip. Alright, too bad. Oh, okay. I thought it dealt damage either way. No, I need to win the coin flip to deal damage. Okay. Do the wave. 10 plus 10 damage for each of your bench Pokemon. This may be... Yeah, knockout. Come on, let me get an energy. Oh, that's not the... yes, I got exactly what I want, but not what I needed. But we can... No, we don't have... But we can use Water Gun. And get the knockout. There we go. Yeah, this looks really bad at first, but now we're doing better. Alright, put Execute out. Attach Psychic Energy to Jigglypuff. Yeah, lots of moves that cause sleep with this deck he's playing against me. Draw one card from the deck. Ah, water. Now that's what I wanted. I'm gonna play that on Omastar. Oh yeah, he's still asleep. Yeah, doggone. Okay. And he's okay. Still asleep. Darn it. Draw one card from the deck. He did. And he finished turn without attacking. Nice. Okay, we're back in business. Come on, more water energy. Nice. We're getting everything. Yeah, this looks pretty against my favor. It looked pretty grim at first, but now, it's actually looking rather up for me. Yo, come on. Nice. And okay, we're doing good. We're doing good. We're just yeah. And knockout. And we won. We won the duel with Daniel. You're no ordinary player if you can defeat me. Age receives a booster pack. Evolution. Let's see what cards are in here. Gengar, Energy Retrieval, Butterfree, Ghastly, Squirtle, and another booster pack. Evolution. Let's see what's in here. Gengar, Haunter, Rapidash, Kakuna, Energy Search, Squirtle, Sandshrew, and Psychic Energy. Next time I play, I'm gonna win. Yeah, it's kind of funny how this character, it's just the actual character sprite from, from Red and Blue. And meanwhile, we're playing as this other kid. Okay, we'll save in our diary, as they call it. And I think that'll make a stream for today. So next time, I know I have Pokemon just on there, I guess in the abstract. But what we will actually be doing is we're gonna be playing all kinds of different. We're gonna play Pokemon Pinball. Yes, we are gonna play. No, not Pokemon Pinball. We played that today. We're gonna play Pokemon Stadium. No, we're gonna start with Pokemon Puzzle League. Then we're also gonna play Pokemon Stadium and Pokemon Snap. So it's gonna be a fun stream. No Thursday streams right now. Happy Easter to those who observe or celebrate. I will see you all next time. Thank you for my victory as we finally move on from the Pokemon era. Yeah, we're only going to play like 90-ish minutes or so at most, so don't get too excited. We're not going to get super deep into it. But I think you can make the credits roll on that game in under 2 hours. And the funny thing about Pokemon Snap is, for a lot of people around my age who maybe N64 was their first system, seeing the idea of playing a game just to try to improve your score and do better at a repeated gameplay loop was kind of a new thing. So when they'd get to the end and see the credits roll, they'd be like, oh no, I beat the game so fast, and get disappointed, to the point where they actually addressed it in Nintendo Power. But we'll be playing some Nintendo 64 Pokemon spin-offs, and then 2 weeks from today, we'll be getting into the future of my streams, and I'll be needing to make some new layouts and maybe make some new game purchases. But that'll be it for now. I'll see you all next time, and thank you so much for your support and for watching me.